So hey everyone, welcome to cookingwithchampagne.com. It is Friday as we wrap up another week. So today for our dessert and cocktail, I'm going to show you some of the nice treats that we can make for the 4th of July because it's right around the corner. So right here, I made about a day or so ago, I bought the vanilla, classic vanilla cake mix in a box, okay? You know how I love those. You can do them any way you want. And what I did here is I had my square pan and I made a vanilla one. As you can see right here, I took half of the batter and I used blue, not the food coloring that you buy in the supermarket because it's too watery. I use food paste, coloring paste. You could buy it in Michael's. And it comes out to be a nice rich color. This is the blue. So we're going to make a red, white, and blue cake, flag cake. And this, I had a box of red velvet cake. So we have our red, white, and blue cake right here. Now, I made them and I covered each one, put some parchment paper in between, and I put it in the freezer. They've been in the freezer for about 2 days. I took it out about a half hour ago. When you're icing cake or layering a cake with filling in between, it's easier to do it when they're ice cold. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to take our red. I'm using chocolate ganache filling that I made right here. And I just let it stand for a few minutes so it cools down. And I'll have all the recipes and the measurements on the website cookingwithchampagne.com. So easy to make. All it is bittersweet chocolate in, some warm, heavy cream, a little vanilla. You could even put some liquor in there if you want, if you're serving it to just adults. So this is what we have here. And I'm just going to take this and give it a nice dollop in the middle. Now you put 2 pats of butter in this when it's cooling off just because you want it to shine. And with my offset spatula, you just work it almost to the edge, okay? Because when you put the other piece on, the top layer, and you smush it down a little, you don't want all of the filling to come out. So you just work it and make it nicely, make a nice even amount each side. And the chocolate ganache is delicious. I already made some vanilla pudding too that we're going to use on another layer. We're going to decorate the top like a flag. For 4th of July, you could do this for Memorial Day, any holiday celebrating America. Okay, so this, look after you take that off, put your hand in the middle, and you want the nice flat side, the neat side. And we just want to make sure that they're all layered evenly. Perfect. Now we're going to get our vanilla. We're going to take our delicious vanilla pudding that you can make Jell-O, you could buy it, and we're just going to put that in on the layer of the white sponge. Now this is classic vanilla. You can use the pure white cake and dye it as well, but this is the French vanilla. And now with this too, you just take it almost to the edge because you don't want it squirting out when you put the blue layer on. And you could get the kids in the kitchen to help you, especially when they're dyeing the cake and mixing it up and, you know, adding the blue to it, or even if you use all white cake and you just use red coloring too. The kids would love to help out. Wherever there's a mess, kids love to be. Isn't that the truth? All right, so let's add the rest of this in. See that? Comes right off. And I want this to match perfectly with the other 2 layers. I don't want to get the blue dye on my other layers. So just squeeze it down a little to make it even. Make sure none of the vanilla pudding is coming out. If it is, we could just Wipe it up in a few. But that's how you do it. Now all my layers are even. You see this little piece of, I'll push this out a little piece of the vanilla. Just with one of your rubber spatulas, just take the tip and run it across and just clean it off. Because you want it nice and clean when you ice it. And we're going to put a whipped cream icing on this. So now, we're going to put this back in the freezer because I want everything to solidify and get nice and firm so that when we ice it, the cakes don't crumb and they don't run into each other color-wise, okay? So with our cake like this, you don't have to cover it. We're going to put it back in the freezer for about maybe 15-20 minutes, okay? In the meantime, we'll come back and we'll make our next step. Step is we're going to make a white ganache. So right here I have heavy cream that I brought up to a nice boil, almost a boil, rolling like boil almost. Shut that off, and we're going to put in a quarter of vanilla extract, quarter teaspoon. Smells good as soon as it hits the heat. Now what we're making here is, look at these little pops, star pops I made out of the cake batter that I had left over. And I made them in a star pan. You can find them anywhere. And then after I made them get really cold in the freezer for about maybe about 5-10 minutes. And then I put my pop sticks in them so they wouldn't crumble when they were warm. So what we're going to do is make this white ganache so we can drizzle that over our pops. And the same way you do chocolate ganache is we pour the nice warm heavy cream right over the white chips here. Now with white ganache, you need a little bit more elbow grease because white ganache is kind of different than chocolate, has more milk solids to it. And all you have to do is just work it around until it melts, just like the chocolate. And if you have to pop it in the microwave, because it's kind of tough to work, just do so. Or you can even do it over a double boiler. So now I got my white chocolate, nice and creamy. I have it sitting over some water that I boiled just to keep it nice and pourable. To this, I'm going to add a pat of cold butter because I want it to have that sheen. And that just goes right in there and you work it around inside. Just the way we did it with the chocolate. This helps it to stay nice and rich and gives it a nice sheen too. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to pour it over our little pops on a stick here, cake pops we could call them. And you can find any of those 4th of July kind of cupcake trays or, you know, any of the baking things in any of the craft stores. They have little flags you can make. So this is just about good to go here. So whisk that cold butter. Beautiful. Our white ganache is. Remember, you need a little bit more elbow grease than the chocolate. Chocolate's much easier. So here we go. What we're going to do with this is take some of our ganache, and I have my pops sitting on one of these racks so the white ganache can drip off into it. And we're just going to do this to all of them. And then we're going to put our beautiful red, white, and blue sprinklers. Perfect for the 4th of July. The kids would love these. Not to mention every adult who wants to act like a kid would love them too. So, all done, all sprinkled. Now what I want to do is I want to take my rack. That's why we put the tin foil on the bottom. It helps all the drippings be contained. And I'm going to put these back in the freezer just for a few more minutes so everything sets. Took our cake out of the freezer. It was in there like 15 minutes to get a nice chill on. I'm decorating it with Cool Whip. And all we're going to do is just dollop it on and do a little decorating. And then it's going to go back into the freezer so it gets nice and firm. And then how we're going to decorate it is with our blueberries and our strawberries to make our flag cake. So all we're going to do right here is just decorate it and pop it back in the freezer for a few minutes so it gets nice and solidified. The reason why we put it back in the freezer is because we want this part to get hotter. So when we put on the next coating, because if you can see, if you can move in a little closer, you could see how the blue still comes through. If you continuously just layer the whipped cream on it, the cake starts to get crumbly, and you don't want that because then all the colors run into each other. So we want this to get hard, and we want this to be nice and flat. Okay, so just make it as clean as you can, and just wipe off your spatula as you go. Just make it clean, because when we come back after a few minutes and just give it another skimming, it'll look even better. This is what the cake boss calls dirty icing a cake, because this is the layer that protects the cake, and then you can decorate after that. So I just want the top to be nice and smooth. Just work with it. Good. Scrape off your spatula. I'm going to put it back in the freezer for about maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we'll come back. My cake out of the refrigerator. I put it in there before, and I took it out and did the second coat of the icing after about 15 minutes of the first coat. And this is what it should look like. It's iced with that beautiful whipped cream. Now you can decorate. So how we make our flag is I'm using blueberries and strawberries, and the background, of course, is white. So with your blueberries, you want to basically take the same size berries, try to eye them and pick them out. And we just want to make the corner part. So because this isn't a very long sheet cake, we're just going to make it to fit, and we'll fill it in. We're just going to outline the corner piece with these blueberries, and basically we want the same size because aesthetically when you look at it, you eat with your eyes first. So we're just going to outline and make sure you're good with the line. Sometimes, you know, you go woo to the side, so you just want to make sure all your lines are straight. If you could see that, you see how I outline that? And then all we're going to do is come in here and fill this in. One by one with each blueberry, and make sure they're in line. So this makes the corner piece of the flag. With the corner of our flag with our blueberries. Now here I have a few of these little white stars from the confectionery sugar candies that you use to decorate cupcakes. I'm just going to fit these in here where I can if they don't fall off my, oh, they're falling off my finger. So we're just going to put those, stick it right in there. My last one, right there. That's our blue cornered flag with our stars. Now let's start on our stripes. Strawberries. How are you, strawberries? We're just going to put these across and layer them like this. Take a container of strawberries, just cut them in slices, like kind of half moons, and just make sure you put them layered like that. And this is how we make our stripes on our flag. Here, after we make all our beautiful stripes with our strawberries, that is our mini flag cake. Isn't that beautiful? Strawberries, blueberries, a little bit of the stars from your cupcake decorations. Inside we have 3 layers, red, white, and blue. And then we layered it with chocolate ganache and vanilla pudding. So now that we have this done, we're going to get ready to make our drink. Let's get to our drink. It's a Blue Lagoon. Look how pretty my glass is. I rimmed it in the red and the white for 4th of July. Sugar, and just froze it in the freezer. Here we go. We have our mixer with our ice This is Curacao, which is orange liqueur made with blue. So we're going to do 2 ounces of that, 2 ounces of vodka, and I have pink lemonade. You use a splash, about 1 ounce or 2 of pink lemonade. If you use regular lemonade, it'll turn the drink green. So that's why I'm doing the pink, because we want to keep with the theme of the red, white, and blue. So splash that off, put our stuff on, and let's just shake it up. Now we're ready for our Blue Lagoon. You remember the movie with Brooke Shields? Just picture yourself on a Blue Lagoon. Look at that, red, white on the outside, the blue in there. How beautiful is that? And of course we need our red cherry right down there. For the 4th of July, how festive, how colorful. This is our Blue Lagoon drink. So here are our beautiful popsicle sticks with our cake that we drizzled in the white ganache and the red, white, and blue sprinkles. Our delicious drink, our Blue Lagoon, and look at how beautiful our flag cake is. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's cut a piece so we can see what it looks like inside. I'll take the corner piece right here. Remember, red, white, and blue. We have the white layer and the red layer that we made with our vanilla pudding. And then we have our chocolate ganache. Come on, look at that. How beautiful. Oh, there goes my fork. How excited I am. Gotta taste that. Doesn't that look good? Wow. So let's taste our delicious cake with our chocolate and vanilla. The ganache to die for. That chocolate ganache with the red velvet. Here's our beautiful Blue Lagoon. Just imagine yourself on the Blue Lagoon on 4th of July having a great time. Download the recipes, cookingwithchampagne.com. Look at the inside of that cake. Tell me people won't be impressed with this drink and that cake on the 4th of July. So here is a champagne toast to you. Happy weekend, everyone, and happy 4th of July.